All right, check it out. This is a quick hack to enhance your track post the mixdown process. So for example, let's say that you have mixed down your track and rendered it out. However, you find that it lacks some depth and the energy is not up to the mark. And yeah, so the traditional way is to go back into the project and change a lot of these various parameters to actually rectify the issue. However, this technique is like a hack where you can add the energy back into the track and really add the depth in certain frequency ranges without doing a lot of the tweaking. So I discovered this technique very recently, and what we're going to do is I have a track here as an example. This is one of my previous releases, Retention. You can check it out using the link in the description below. So yeah, let's get on with it. And the first thing I'm going to do is create this return channel here and call it enhance. And what we're going to use is I'm going to drop in a convolution reverb. Of course, this technique is quite odd. It's not conventional. However, the results that it produces is quite extraordinary. So here is the convolution reverb. What I'm going to do is quickly group this so that we can split it into multiple chains. I'm going to call this low, duplicate this, call this mid, duplicate it once again, and call this high. So we are dealing with the frequency ranges in different chains, so we have finer controls. So let's deal with the first one, which is the low end, and we're going to be targeting the frequency range of I don't know, probably 20 to probably around 170, because you're targeting the bass frequencies and we're trying to exaggerate that a little bit. So I'm going to solo this and just add the signal from the send here, and let's check out what it's doing. Of course, we want to select the part where there's a lot of low end, and this is the peak of the track. It's got quite a lot of the low end and the noise in the mix. So let's take a listen to that without the return channel, and then I'm going to activate the return channel and we'll hear the difference. So you get the idea. I'm going to now activate this return channel and go to the convolution reverb and select some of these IRs here. So I'm going to drag them to the low end IR. Of course, this IR pack is not out in public. This is something that I have created for personal use. I'm yet to refine this IR pack, and hopefully in the future I can put it out there for you guys to use it. So I'm going to select this IR here and drive the mix to 100%, and let's take a listen to how just the return channel sounds with the low end. So you can see that the low end is really exaggerated, and that's going overboard. So what we want to do is the first thing is to reduce the width of the sound, because you want the lower and the bass frequencies to be mono so that it doesn't create any phase issues. So I'm just going to bring down the width and make it mono. Let's take a listen to that. You can see that low end is like beefed up completely, and that's quite a lot. So what we're going to do is just reduce the levels here. Probably, I don't know, minus 10 dB. Or maybe increase it a little. Okay, that sounds good. So you can hear the difference that this is making. You can see that the low end is more prominent and it cuts through the mix beautifully. So it's still quite a lot. That's because I have the send value at the extreme. So I'm going to reduce the send value and keep it around minus 18, let's say, and this works just fine. You can hear the low end cut through the mix. I think it's still quite a lot, so I'm going to reduce the levels by like a dB or 2. So as you can hear, the difference that this makes, I think it's beautiful. It's a quick way to enhance the low end. Of course, you can use EQs and stuff like that. However, that presents some of the challenges, in regards to phase issues and stuff like that. So it also depends on what kind of EQ you're using. So yeah, I don't want to be dealing with a lot of these parameters, like EQing and just getting lost in that process. I just want to enhance this track so that I can take it over to the next stage, which is the mastering. So this technique is very handy, very useful when it comes to enhancing a track before you take it over to mastering. So it's perfect for that. However, to use it on mastering or in the mastering stage, it's kind of dicey at that point because it's not really sustainable. So yeah, I think we're done with the low end. Let's take a listen to the mids. I'm just going to solo the return channel. I think this is beautiful. You can hear, let's just cycle through some of the IRs. Okay, the first thing I'm going to do is drop in an auto filter here and remove the sub frequencies because we have a different chain for that. And I'm going to drop in another auto filter here and oops, I'm going to close this out and probably bring it down to 2 to 3K around somewhere there. So you can see the subs are removed from this, and we're removing some of the high end frequencies because we are going to be dealing with the higher end in the next chain. So let's take a listen, let's take a listen to how this sounds. I do like the higher end sound from this, but that's for another time. Let's check out a different IR. Now the point of this is like, the point of this exercise is to check what frequency ranges you want to refine or exaggerate or make them cut through the mix. So I'm thinking like I think this would be more suitable here because it's adding that depth to the atmosphere and the piano and the noise, whatever is present in this frequency range. So let's unsolo, like mute the low end, so we hear only the mids. Now let's hear it in context with the original track. Now let's cycle through a different IR and see what difference this makes. I think I like this one here because it's you know, bringing out the mid-range in a way that I kind of like it, and it fits the vibe of the track. So I'm gonna stick with this IR, and let's hear it one more time, and probably we'll take a listen to a different part of the track and see what changes here. So. So you can hear that change is very subtle, but what we can do is we can go a step further, and like I want the just this area of 500 to 1K. Now let's take a listen to the peak of the track. So you can hear the difference. It's very subtle, but there is another trick that we can use. Let's use a compressor here just to bring out some of the frequencies, just to give it a bit of the edge to this part. So I'm going to use the default compressor from Ableton Live, and it's the preset acoustic. This is overboard once again, so I'm going to bring down the dry wet to refine this effect. So as you can see that it's not really doing much because there's no gain reduction going on. So I'm going to increase the threshold so the compression is even way more stronger now. I still think it's missing something, and that's probably because some of these frequencies need a bit of energy. So what I'm going to do is increase this. Yes, now it makes it warmer and just round it out completely. You can hear the difference. I like this, so I'm gonna stick with this. And let's move on to, so let's hear with the low end and the mid together in context. So we know, we always verify that what we're doing is valid or not. Yeah, that's another tip I would like to share. Always verify what you're doing is valid or not. So let's take a listen. So you can hear the difference here, and it's very subtle, and that's what we are aiming for. You don't want to go overboard here because it might ruin the mix. So I can already pinpoint an issue with this here, because I can hear some changes in the higher end register. I can feel that when I'm implementing this technique, quite a lot of the high end is disappearing, and the way to deal with that is, now we'll get into the higher end spectrum. So again, I'm going to drop in excuse me, I'm going to drop in an auto filter and cut out anything above 1K, and let's just take a listen. I'm going to choose an IR. Excuse me. I'm going to choose an IR that is more suitable for the higher end and maybe even more experimental. So let's check out this. I kind of like this because it's bringing out it's exaggerating the noise a little bit. Okay, I'm going to bring down the mix to 50% so that I don't lose out the high end completely. Like, I don't want to change the high end completely. You can see that tonally it's changing a little bit in terms of the texture. The high end is being changed when I keep it at 100%. So 50% is good. Let's take a listen. Maybe I'm gonna keep that and check how it sounds on this part of the track where there is a lot of piano. Again, I'm going to add in a compressor just to bring out the overall levels and make it more prominent, to add the edge. So bring down the threshold. Let's take a listen to this in context with the original track. There might be some phasing issues going on. You can hear that phase. So let's try and drop in a utility here and invert the phase and see what it does. As you can see, when I'm trying to activate and deactivate the utility, you can hear the difference here. And without the utility, you can actually see that the sound loses something. That's because of the phase issues, two waves canceling out each other, and that's not desirable. So a quick way to deal with that is to add in a utility, invert the phase, so that it doesn't cancel out, and it's more additive. So you can hear what this does. So I just brought down the dry wet of the compressor just to balance it out, and I'm going to activate the mids and check if this has any phase issues, so we can drop in a utility and resolve the issue here. So in this case, you can see that there are no phase issues, because when I drop in the utility and invert the phase, in this case, the sound is losing something. And so by adding the utility, the phase issues are being presented because of this. So in this case, I'm just going to delete the utility because we don't need it. There are no phase issues. It just sounds fine. So I'm going to leave it at that. Let's just check the low end. Drop in a utility here, invert the phase, and we see if this adds something to the track or ruins the track. So as you can hear, there's not much of the change here compared to the mids and the highs. That's because the low end is completely mono, so there are no phase issues, and we're good to go. So I'm going to delete the utility. We've taken care of the phase issues, so I'm going to activate all of this, and now let's take a listen to the track in context. So I'm going to disable the return channel and enable it to check what it's actually doing. So this is without. And this is with. So let's check out another part of the track and verify that this is actually enhancing the track or not. So this is width. So I like how the piano sounds with this. You know, it's adding that extra energy into the track. So what we have done is valid and it sounds great. So this is a very quick hack on how to enhance your track before you send it out to mastering. So once again, let's verify that the track sounds good. So it's definitely enhancing the track, and the final step is to balance the levels out of the return channels. Right now I think it's too much, so I'm just going to bring down the levels by like 2 dB so that we have enough headroom to take it to the next level, and that's during mastering. So we have enough headroom to master the track. So a really good value to hit, the peak levels to hit is around -6. You can go to -4, that's fine. But anyways, you can always reduce the levels during the mastering process. However, you don't want to clip this this sound or this track by going above 0 or maybe even hitting -2, because when you're limiting and adding compression and saturation in the mastering process, there's not much headroom for you to play around with. So a good value range is around -4 to -6. So let's check if we are at the right peak levels. So I think we're good to go. I'm just going to reduce this by -1.5 just to make sure we're at the right peak levels, so that I have enough headroom in the mastering stage. So this sounds good. Let's verify that that everything is right. So what you can do is just call this enhance pre-master. Oops. You can even go ahead and save this. So next time when you're dealing with a track and you just want to enhance it, just drop in this audio effect rack, change some of the settings, and you're good to go. So anyways, I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. I hope you learned something. Yeah, I hope you found this valuable. If you did, please like, share, and subscribe. It will help the channel out. I look forward to delivering more content soon, and hopefully I could even try to be more consistent, since I kind of enjoy doing this. So yeah, please like, share, and subscribe. I'll see you next time. Take care. Bye bye.